All right, good morning, guys. We are going live. I'm doing this video, probably one of the first of many. As you guys know, I'm kind of switching up the format on my channel. But welcome to the All in Politics podcast. Or actually, we're just going to be a discussion. I'm not going to have anybody on unless some of the guys wants to join. Probably if Dea wants to jump in, if she has commentary and stuff like that, she can. But anyway, we'll just kick it off. You guys are probably wondering why I'm able to do a lot of videos. I've had some time off, man. It's the holiday season. Um, Oh, sorry, I'm getting distracted. Oh my gosh, this is crazy. So as you can see by the title, guys, this is why I started doing this. I switched up the format on my channel because I wanted to have these discussions. Because for the last 4 years, man, we've been stuck in this, you know, melodrama of race, DEI, things that has been the hot topics of the day in the country, especially when it comes to politics, and all that changed last month on November 5th. The country basically said we're tired of all this stuff. We want to move on, and they elected President-elect Trump, and they said they made it loud and clear that hey, we want to move on to what's really important to us, which is the economy, immigration, national security. More importantly, where's our money going, right? And all the drama that goes on in Washington. A lot of that stuff's getting exposed, as you guys know, as I try and do these videos on my channel. Um, but last night, man, before I was going to bed, and I had a rough night last night, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I finally was able to go to sleep, man. You guys know I'm old, man. I've been dealing with health issues and stuff like that. Finally able to go to sleep, but before I went to bed, dude, a lot of stuff was hitting my feed, mostly on Twitter, but on social media in general. And within the circles that I'm in, dude, this is not a mainstream kind of thing, which is interesting to me. This shows you like how I talk about the mainstream media and how they're always looking for something to complain about, and they didn't pick up on it yet, or at least I haven't seen it yet. And you guys know I'm behind the rest of y'all in the country, so where I'm at right now, when I got up this morning, I didn't see anybody really picking up on this except for a few outlets, and mostly outlets overseas, which I think is really important that you guys should. If you guys are gonna get politically charged, definitely go find some stuff out there on the other countries around the world, whether it's our allies or not, because you get a little bit more different picture of the U.S. and how people view us, right? And you can use that to help form your opinion. That's what this is all about, guys. That's why I'm excited about doing this kind of stuff, dude. This is the direction I want to take the channel in. These are the discussions I want to be having, dude. Like I said, November 5th, everything's decided. We're moving forward, and then moving forward, man, it's all the stuff that's going on, and leading up to when President Trump takes office, and then the 4 years that all the stuff that he wants to implement. And that's what we're going to be talking about, man. That's why I told you, man, cause and effect, the minutia, the little mechanizations, man. I find this stuff fascinating. And I know this might be boring for some of you guys, right? But like I said, I can't be talking about Xbox all the time. I love to talk about Xbox. In fact, there's some news that's dropping. I'll probably do a podcast tomorrow, see if the guys want to jump on or not. I still haven't done my video on Sega. I'll probably try and do that a little later today. This is not going to be long, guys. Really quick, right? But this seems to be the first test of the MAGA movement, right? As you can see by the title, MAGA Civil War, and it's not really a civil war, man. Like I try and tell you guys on this channel all the time, the MAGA movement is an amalgamation of a lot of different people, a lot of different opinions, a lot of different values, a lot of different principles. When where the MAGA movement comes from, just to give you guys a brief history if you haven't watched my other videos, is basically what happened with the Tea Party, right? This is prior to 2016, before Trump's first time in office, and the Tea Party was a big movement. But the Tea Party was mostly people on the right, especially conservatives and Christian conservatives, right? And then the Tea Party actually transformed into the MAGA Party, right? And I can speak for that. I can speak to that 100% because I was more on the Tea Party side, and then the MAGA side came on. And what you realize with the MAGA side, dude, is that they had their own ideas of what's important and what's not important. Um, the only thing was because it kind of streamed along conservative thought processes and stuff like that. It was kind of an easy transition into that, especially with the stuff that was going on politically in Trump's first 4 years as president, right? And to the point where MAGA just kind of took over. And the reason why MAGA took over is because it incorporated a lot of different people, outside of the political norms, right? If you guys are politically charged like I am, there's a left and a right, there's a liberal and a conservative, there's a Christian and a secular side of politics, right? And so prior to MAGA, it was more a Christian conservative side, right? And then it became more of a conservative side. And now you have MAGA in 2024, right? It's an amalgamation of everybody, right? That's politically charged. Or like if you've been doing this for a long time, like me, or if you're new to the program, like a lot of these people are coming in. Some of them just started this year, over the summertime, and you see a lot of people doing these videos talking about how they were wrong about Trump, or how they feel bad that they were talking bad about Trump in 2016, and then they switched parties or they switched their affiliations, or they just came over and voted for him, right? And this is still in flux, man. Again, if you guys keep up to some of the commentators that are online socially, you guys know who the Young Turks are, and Kasparian and then Senko Weaver, who actually went to a conservative, quote unquote, you know, him. I'm not saying he's conservative, but he went over to conservative Amfest or something like that. I didn't get a chance to watch any of it, just a couple clips. Because dude, I'm not gonna lie, dude. I've been enjoying my gaming. That's why I have had some time off, dude. My goal by next week is to try and prestige top level in Call of Duty Black Ops 6. Man, I was able to in one day. I was able to move an entire prestige level, right? And if I stay consistent with it, I think I could max it out, or at least get close to, at least get to level 8 or 9, because I think the max is 10. I don't know. T's not here. I'd ask him. He's not here. He could tell me, but I'm pretty sure it's 10. I'm already on 5. If you guys didn't know about Black Ops, I know I was bringing back to Black Ops 6. You guys know I'm a gaming channel as well. Black Ops 6 is doing double XP on experience and double XP on weapons. Right, so I'm also switching out weapons, trying to level those up. Anyway, my point being, I've been spending a lot of time, well, more time than usual, enjoying my games. Unfortunately, it's all revolved around Black Ops because the stuff that they're doing, right? So I haven't been as charged into a lot of the things that I normally are, or normally am. But I keep enough my tabs on this stuff that I can do videos like this and talk about it. Right? So getting back to the point. The MAGA of 2016 is way different from the MAGA of 2024, right? That's why I call it a movement, man. It's not a party, right? It's not a side, right? A lot of the people, again, that's coming into this movement, man, they're new to politics, right? A lot of them used to be former Democrats, Tulsi Gabbard, for example. Again, I use Trent Gunker. Dude, man, this is crazy. Why is this guy flying over our house? You hear that? You guys know I live in Hawaii, right? They love to fly over the coal house here. It's the mountain you see in most movies and TV shows. That mountain range that everybody thinks Hawaii, the whole of Hawaii looks like that. That's actually one side of the island. Oh, these people are irritating. But you know what? Tourism pays the bills here, so you gotta do what you gotta do. Anyway, um, so it's just not the same. A lot of the people in the MAGA movement are liberal, right? And one of the reasons they're over here is because they got ostracized from their old party. Because on the left side, you have to have groupthink, man. If you don't have groupthink, dude, you'll get ostracized. I found that out really quickly, right? And this was years ago, man, because I don't follow the norm of somebody that's supposed to be a person of color, or especially of my culture, who's Hawaiian, right? That don't think the way that a lot of other people do, right? I'm more on the individualistic side when it comes to my politics, dude. I'm all over the place by other people's standards, man, and that's just because I like to think for myself. And everybody's different, man. It depends a lot of times, man. Like where you grew up can matter, right? What's your station in life, right? How do you live your life? What do you believe in? Your principles and your morals. It's all of that rolled into one. So there's a lot of people that's in MAGA right now that wasn't in 2016, and it's one of the reasons why, if you look at the election, why Trump did so well with a lot of different demographics. Like he won a couple of demographics, but for the most part, it's not that he won a lot of demographics. It's that he won a lot of people within those demographics. One of the smartest things I think he ever did, and I'm not sure who came up with this idea in his circle of people that was running the election. Dude, they had a lot of good guys that were working in there. But again, and this is what MAGA is now, right? And I'm not just talking about Elon. Elon was probably the biggest thing that happened, and one of the big reasons why he won. There's this dude Scott Presler that was going out, and from 2020, this dude put his boots on, man. He went around the country and he hit spots in the country that they knew he could flip red. Laura Trump, which is his daughter-in-law, actually took over the RNC and ran that like a boss, dude. I was amazed. You know, a lot of people was screaming it was nepotism and stuff like that. Did you look at what she did, and you look at the results, man? It's unquestionable, right? That girl has bona fide. So, you know, it was an amalgamation of all these people that came in that did stuff that was outside the box, right? And one of the things that I like, that I heard one of the people say, man, I can't, you know, you guys know I'm not doing it, man. My memory is like not as good as it used to be. But one of the people came in there and they said, look, because one of the big things that this is why Republicans always lose, right? When they look at things, they're looking at things from a Republican point of view, from a political point of view, while everything's in flux and everything's changing. And this is why Donald Trump has been able to come in and just shake politics to its core, right? Because he doesn't look at things the way that the average politician works. It's one of the reasons why a lot of people that like him, why a lot of people that voted for him, right? Because he's not a politician, right? So when he looks at things, he looks at it differently. And then he surrounds himself with people that can think outside the box and that can bring something to the table. And he actually listens to them. And if he likes it, he does it. If he doesn't, he won't do it, right? But for the most part, he surrounded himself with a lot of people that were a little bit more diverse, you know, using the D word there, right? In his on his team, right? And some people got pushed off to the wayside, man. And it's nothing personal. In fact, a lot of the guys that used to be in his first party, some of them have come back in. People, a lot of them still support him, some don't, right? Because he went into a different direction. But this is what makes him a winner, right? At the end of the day, right? So, you know, but one of the best things that they came out with was, you know, the right was always trying to win the female vote, right? And year after year, man, the female vote always goes to the Democrats, you know, always do over 50, 60%. And the more that we've gone on in this country politically, they've gone even harder left, right? So somebody in his party had the bright idea. It's like, okay, so, you know, they call them the wine moms, right? The suburban moms, the suburban women, college educated, mostly white, right? And they were always trying to figure out how to crack that puzzle. And then somebody on his side team was like, well, you know what? They can have the moms. We'll get their sons, right? We'll focus on the young men, and that's what they did. And if you look at how he won the college demographic, the people that voted for him in the college demographic, a lot of them are men. And surprisingly, a lot of women voted for him too, more than usual, right? Like 44%, something like that, some crazy number. Even I was shocked, right? Look, at the end of the day, dude, there's some demographics, there's some groups that you just can't win over, right? So you have to find another way uh, to end up winning. And that's what he does. That's what he did. And that's what he always does. That's what he did in 2016, man, that whole blue wall thing. That's the thing that kind of turned me on in the election again. Taking a class and I had to look at all the little, I had to present, and it couldn't be personal. You had to check your bias, right? You had to look at it honestly. And so when I did that, dude, and we were talking about the blue wall, dude, I thought it was absolute genius at the time. I was like, oh, I see what he's doing, right? Because the problem with politicians and a lot of these experts, a lot of these political analysts and stuff like that, dude, they have a rubric that they go by, dude, and there's no wiggle room in that rubric, right? So when things are switching or things are fluid, man, these people all they do the same thing. They just put everything in a box, right? Like you can't win with this demographic, you can't win in this part of the country. No, there's always been Democrats. In some aspects, that's true, right? But as you can see over the last two elections with Trump, like he destroyed all of that, dude. This is why every just like in November 5th, dude, we went through it in 2016. November 5th of 2024, all these guys was crying again. All these people on mainstream media, news sites, man, they're sitting there just in shock and awe, right? I mean, it's entertaining to watch. I'm not gonna lie, I enjoyed it, but at the end of the day, dude, this is what it all boils down to, right? So anyway, getting back to the topic at hand, so you have this MAGA civil war, quote unquote, and it's not. It really isn't, dude. What you're seeing happening right now is just a lot of, this is going to happen. And I, for one, welcome it, dude. Let's have the conversations. Let's talk about this kind of stuff, right? Let's talk about immigration. Let's talk about the economy. For the most part, everybody's been on the same page, right? Because it's such big issues, right? It's the number one issue right now for most people and why they participated in the election, regardless of who they voted for, right? Was the economy. Everybody's feeling it now. Not everybody comes to the same conclusion, which is surprising, right? For me, I mean, I know why I voted. I know why the economy matters to me and how it affects me directly. Some people see it differently, right? And again, if you look at uh, how all the votes tallied out, for me personally, when I look at that, I'm like, dude, I think you should have more people voted for him, right? Because I know a lot of people are hurting when it comes to money right now. Dude. And it's not just the middle class, it's not just the poor, it's also the corporations, man. As you guys know, on the video game channel, we've seen what happened to the video game industry. Now, these guys don't want to talk about it, right? I mean, they want to stick their head in the sand. That's fine, right? But at the end of the day, all these guys are going to kiss the ring at Mar-a-Lago, right? Because they know what time it is. This is one of the biggest things that I hated about the whole Hi-Fi Rush situation, right? Because at the end of the day, um, it was a business decision, right? Microsoft fell on their sword, right? But at the end of the day, man, games are just not making money. I don't know. You want to cut it up, down, sideways, any way you want to cut it, dude. It's just not making money. Again, video games relies on disposable income, right? Like other mediums, especially in pop culture, dude. You don't have to. Like last night, I just purchased on Microsoft Digital Store, right? I don't like to buy the movies full price. It's not that I don't want to support the movies or the studios, but I'm kind of iffy about buying the stuff because I have my own standard, right? You don't really own a physical copy. You don't own the actual content, right? You're basically licensing it. So if you're gonna do that, dude, I'm not gonna pay you, $29.99 for your product, right? Now, Transformers Generation One, and I had struggled with that. I'm not gonna lie, because I wanted to support it, but unfortunately, they probably won't make a second movie. But it's on sale for $9.99, right? And I'm sure a lot of people are doing that on the Xbox store right now. Dude, there's so many sales to be had, um, but I know a lot of people can't afford to buy it, buy a lot of that stuff, dude, because it adds up. And at the end of the day, when you're counting pennies, that matters, right? So that's something that that's one of those big ticket items that people in this party, whether it's Republican or Democrat, even, right? That's a big ticket item that everybody can look at and everybody can agree on either side, or within the MAGA party, given how diverse it is, right? Of all the type of people that's in there right now, right? That's something they can look at and agree on. So the whole thing with the MAGA Civil War things, right? It's actually showing some of the cracks within that MAGA party, right? It's because you have a lot of different people with different opinions on employment, on immigration, right, and economy. And one of the biggest thing is H1B, right? If you guys don't know what that is, I'm not going to go through a whole diatribe on it, man. Please do some research online. But it's basically visas that allow foreign workers to come to the country and work here, right? And it usually centers around the tech industry. Okay. Now, I'm going to share something really quickly because this is the interesting part, right? Because the two darlings of the MAGA movement right now are Elon Musk and Vivek Ramaswamy, right? And so Vivek posted something, and that's what I'm going to read right now. I'm going to share that with you, and that's what's causing kind of the upheaval of what he said, and it's basically, and we'll discuss it, dude. I'll read it and then I'll break it down too. But and then Elon Musk came out, and then some of the people that are on the right side on the MAGA party. I've look, dude. I'm not taking this lightly and stuff like that, but I've been enjoying the conversation. Again, this is conversations we should be having, right? And I'm not saying there's some stuff I agree with, some stuff I don't agree with, right? But again, dude, if you're gonna live in a free society, if you're gonna have freedom of speech and allow people to discuss these kind of things, this is what you need to do, right? So hold on one second, fellas. Is this the one? Yeah, this is the one. Hold on, let me blow up this bad boy. No, let me reread this. Can you guys see it better? Let me blow this up. Yeah, there we go. Mm, let me shut this down real fast. Hope you guys can see this. Okay, should be good. I see it. Okay, so This is me on X, man. So I follow Vivek. Um, really good guy, man. Smart guy. One of the things I love the most about him is that he's able to take things that are really technical, things that have a lot of, you know, how can I say it? This is just stuff that is a lot of jargon and gobbledygook and break it down for people, right? So they can better consume it, better understand it, right? Because that's what politics do. That's what they like to do. Again, one of the things he did most recently was the budget that they tried to pass. And I know a lot of people are saying that that was a L. Well, people on the left anyway. That was an L for Trump because the Senate, the Congress, there's people in the Congress that didn't go for it, but and they're missing the big picture, which was Vivek and Elon actually stopping billions of dollars being wasted. Right? That's how you gotta look at things, man. Especially when it comes to politics. You're not gonna get 100% everything that you want, but one of the things I love that they're gonna do, man, is they're gonna stop all the craziness because it's become the exception, not the rule, when it comes to Washington D.C. And those guys need to be checked big time. In fact, I think most of them need to go away. I said last time what about 80%? 80% of government. I mean, that's how efficient they can take it down, right? And at the end of the day, it helps us, right? Because we save money, all of us. Again, man, the government doesn't make money. The government takes money. Okay, it's not like a private industry. Because in at least in a private business, all the cheating and underhanded stuff that some of these businesses do aside, or corporations do, right? When it's run the way it's supposed to run, it's based on your merit, right? So if you're a successful company and people like what you do and they purchase your product, you can be successful. Now, within the course of that, there's stupid things that the company could do, like you see what's going on in gaming right now with the whole DEI stuff. What's going on with Disney, my favorite punching bag, right? All the crap that they're going through right now, which is self-inflicted, dude. You can't do anything about that, right? Let the chips fall where they may, right? But let the system work its way properly, and then it'll take care of all of that. And it did take a while, not gonna lie, man, because Disney's such a powerful brand, and it still is. But it took them a while to be in the situation that they're in now, man. Their chickens have come home to roost, and hopefully they learn from it. But if they don't, then they're gonna go the way of the dodo, like other companies have done. Nobody's indestructible. But so yeah, we'll talk about Vivek Ramaswamy. And so I'm pretty sure, dude. Look, this dude has probably been thinking about this for a while, and of course, a lot of this stuff revolving around, especially coming from the left. The people that are plugged into all this kind of stuff, dude, it's boiling down to race, and it's so much more than that. And again, this is why I did the videos on this channel to have these discussions, right? Because it is a great conversation to have, and I think that regardless of what your background is or what your color is, right, we can have these conversations openly and honestly, looking at all sides, right? This is what this is the probably the first test for the MAGA movement, right? Like, and look, dude, it's not all going to be fun and games, right? It's not all going to be rainbows and butterflies, right? There's going to be some, look, there's going to be some warring, man. There's going to be some people are going to get taken out, dude. It's just the way it is. But at the end of the day, man, I think it's the honest conversations we need to be having. Okay, so let me read this stuff, and I'm going to do this on the channel, but I just want to give you guys a breakdown. Okay, it's not really that long. But this is the hornet's nest that Vivek dropped on Twitter last night that got everybody. And dude, some of the people I saw responding to it, I was a little bit surprised, but it is what it is. So the reason top tech companies often hire foreign-born and first-generation engineers over Native Americans isn't because of any American IQ deficit, a lazy and wrong explanation. A key part of that comes down to the C word, which is culture. Tough questions demand tough answers, and if we're really serious about fixing the problem, we have to confront the truth. Our American culture has venerated mediocrity over excellence for way too long, at least since the 90s and likely longer. That doesn't start in college, it starts young. Yeah, he makes a good point right there. A culture that celebrates the prom queen over the math Olympiad champ or the jock over the valedictorian will not produce the best engineers. I'm not saying that he's wrong with that comment, but I mean, there's a lot to unpack there, right? Um, there's a lot to unpack there, right? There's a reason why American culture celebrates certain things, and the prom queen and the prom queen over the math Olympian champ or the jock over the valedictorian is actually, to me anyway, from my perspective, is definitely ingrained in the American culture. We celebrate success, we celebrate big ideas, we celebrate winners, right? It kind of makes the country what it is. So I don't necessarily agree with that. I see what he's saying though, right? And it's like a cultural shift, especially the way that technology is shifting and the way the world's shifting right now, right? And again, he's coming from the perspective of keeping America number one. So a culture that venerates Corey the boy from Boy Meets World, or Zack and Slater over Screech in Saved by the Bell, or Stefan over Steve Urkel in Family Matters will not produce the best engineers. Yeah, so I love that he uses pop culture, right? Because this is again, this is why I like what he does, right? He kind of brings it down to like a core level, so all of us can look at it and understand what he's saying, as opposed to some politician that's over there trying to speak in puzzles and riddles, so that you don't know what they're saying. Fact, I know multiple sets of immigrant parents in the 90s who actively limited how much their kids could watch those TV shows precisely because they promoted mediocrity. And their kids went on to become wildly successful STEM graduates. More movies like Whiplash, fewer reruns of Friends, more math tutoring, fewer sleepovers, more weekend science competitions, fewer Saturday morning cartoons, more books, less TV, more creating, less chilling, more extracurriculars, less hanging out at the mall. Most normal American parents look skeptically at those kinds of parents. More normally, American kids view such those kinds of kids with scorn. If you grew up aspiring to normalcy, normalcy is what you will achieve. Yeah, dude. So again, he's not wrong. I actually agree with him. I actually benefit from this, man. This with my kids. From my perspective with my kids, when I looked at them, man, given my cultural background and the stuff that I look at, what's important to me, I didn't want my daughter to get pregnant, and I didn't want my son to get pregnant. Okay, that was I wanted him to stop the drug because that stuff in my lifetime that I've seen, right, within my own culture, right. Whereas their mom comes from a different perspective. Their mom comes from the perspective is, yeah, you will be successful, you will go to college, you will do this, you will do that. Now that's the Asian side. Right? If you guys didn't know, my kids are Polynesian and Asian. Okay, so that's two very different cultures, right, with different perspectives, but we made it work. Okay, so I understand what he's saying there, but on the flip side of that too, um, that's a part of American culture, dude. The number of times I see people that go to Japan, right, and they look at how neat everything is in Japan, they look how clean everything is in Japan, they see how nice everybody is in Japan, right, and then they sit here and then they'll come back to America and goes, oh, why can't America be like that? Because that's not our culture, that's not how we are. Right? Because if you do a deep dive into Japan and their culture, man, there's cultural norms, there's cultural taboos that they have to deal with that a lot of people in this country will not be able to handle. You know, this the simple fact of keeping your keeping your mouth shut, right? Because we grew up in a society where we encourage people to speak their mind. Japan is not like that, dude. It's about the common good, right? It's about the entirety of the nation, right? They have a shaming culture there, which I appreciate personally. When I was growing up, there was more of it there, especially in my culture, right? It was very you didn't want to do anything stupid or anything bad, right? Because you reflected bad on your parents, and then when you got home, you got your ass whooped. Sorry, I don't know how else to put it, but that was the reality of me growing up, right? And that's another thing you got to take into consideration too. America is a lot of different cultures, a lot of different people. Dude, again, we're diverse, dude. That's why you don't have to force diversity on this culture. We're already diverse, right? We already have a lot of different cultures that make up this country. That's why I always say, man, we don't need diversity, we need unity, right? We need to find something common that we can grip onto and look at and agree on, right? So that we can all move forward. You live your life the way you live your life. Like, nothing's going to change my family or the people in my family, the things we like to do. Like, we have Thanksgiving, dude. We just had Thanksgiving. Dude, we have a turkey. My mom makes probably the best marshmallow yams, candy jam I've ever tasted. And I lived in the mainland, and still hers is still the best. I've tasted a lot of different ones, right? But then it's also a mix of a lot of stuff we eat here, man. You'll find raw fish, you'll find poke, you find roast pork, you find right. We make Hawaiian food, right? You have poi, you have wumi salmon, you have all this kind of stuff at the house on top of all the other stuff, dude. That's basically what America is. Right? But again, you have to have something that you can unify around, and that's to me the problem with America right now, right? Is because we went from being a melting pot, which I think is the right way to look at things because we are diverse, right? I'm very pro American. I'm very pro. I love being an American citizen, right? I love being American, right? Celebrate Fourth of July, do all that stuff, right? I have no problem doing all that kind of stuff, right? And that's what I think Vivek is trying to get back to, right? Not losing that, but turning things, kind of being a little bit more diversified. But again, dude, it also boils down to the culture, dude. The Saturday morning cartoons and all this kind of stuff, dude. Because at the end of the day, but he's talking specifically about engineers and tech fields and stuff like that. And one of the things I know, man, because I work with these people directly, I know a lot of people. I live in Hawaii, dude. A lot of Asians here. A lot of them are engineers, right? Now, is that what you really want, though? Right? Again, you have freedom of choice. You have the ability to do whatever you want to do. But you also, I think, one of the problems in our society is we don't deal with the consequences, right? When the consequences hit everybody, especially nowadays. Like you guys know, I'm older, man. I'm Gen X. Dude, we grew up in a time where there was really no choice. Dude, you just do what you needed to do, get it done. That all the things that made us who we are, right? And I know I hear what he's saying, dude, because that's not that this generation, right? And I don't think it's necessarily bad. I do agree with him, though. But I mean, it's not bad with having options, dude. It's just people aren't as appreciative of what they have nowadays. From what I see, dude, look, dude, I work with the military. I see it every day, dude. I just saw on X here where people were talking about, well, I went to the military for this. I didn't go for to fight for the country. I just went in to get a scholarship. And there's people that do that, dude. But I think that's also a problem. Right? This is why a lot of people are worried about us getting into a world war right now, man. Because do we have the right people? Because at the end of the day, dude, you're a warrior. You fight to defend the country, right? When I went in, a lot of people felt that way, right? They were proud to be American. Now, 30, 40 years removed, man, and the type of education system we have, nobody teaches pride in the country. That's stuff that we need to get back to, me personally. That's what I think, right? To get us back to good. But anyway, let's continue. Uh, Hold on, let me go down. Now, close your eyes and visualize which families you knew in the 90s, or even now, who raised their kids according to one model versus the other. Be brutally honest. Normalcy doesn't cut it in hyper-competitive global market for technical talent. And if you prepare like it does, we'll have our assets handed to us by China. I disagree. I see what he's saying, though. I mean, I agree, but I disagree. Right? He's right. He's right in the sense of like, we need to get more competitive. We need to get better. We need to be. We need to look at things in more of the bigger picture. Right? But the only reason I disagree with this right now because I share a bunch of videos here on X on my account that shows the problems that China's having. Because China, in and of itself, is number one. They're communist, but the way their culture is, they're not set up really to be capitalistic. I'm not saying they can't be, but they're not. Western and Eastern cultures are very very different. Dude, my culture and Western culture is very different. Right? It took 2 generations for us on these islands to get where we are, and we still have some ways to go. Right? And we're a 50th state. Right? Um, I mean, he's not wrong here. I just disagree with him on that because the stuff that China's doing right now has brought their own problem. Their whole middle class right now is collapsing. China's whole middle class is collapsing right now, and the reason it's collapsing is because they're communists, right? It's already look. We're a capitalist society, and we're struggling right now because of stupidity, stupid things that we do in our society, right? Let alone China, who's actually communist. And another thing, well, we'll finish this and then I'll come back to that. This can be our Sputnik moment. I like this part because he's actually very positive. We've awakened from slumber before, and we can do it again. Trump's election hopefully marks the beginning of a new golden era in America, but only if our culture fully wakens up. A culture that once again prioritizes achievement or normalcy, excellence over mediocrity, nerdiness over conformity, hard work over laziness. That's the work we have cut out for us, rather than wallowing in victimhood and just wishing or legislating alternative hiring practices into existence. I'm confident we can do this. So at the end of all of this, dude, it's a very positive message. And again, I'm not disagreeing with him 100%. There's some things that I see where he's coming from, dude. But again, at the end of the day, not everybody wants to be an engineer, and not everybody can be an engineer. Right? My kid's mother, man, she's a pharmacist. That is a tough job, especially the way she does it. Right? She gets paid top dollar because she's one of the best. Right? And I didn't realize. I know people go to college. I knew the whole college thing. I did not go to college. I joined the military, and I'm not complaining. That worked out for me. I loved it. Right? Boom. But in her, I saw what it really means to go to college. It really means to work towards something. Right? It's a lot of hard work. Right? And at the end of the day, you're getting paid for that hard work. And on top of that, the work she's getting paid for, dude, it's hard, dude. It's something that I find interesting because I went through some continuing education things that was required by state law here in Hawaii that she had to attend, and I went with her, right? And I found it interesting, right? But at the end of the day, dude, I don't like math that much, right? I'm not saying that I couldn't do it, right? It's just not interesting to me on that level, right? And you have to be able to do certain things to be in that field, And it's not for everybody, man. Look, I'm not saying you can't take your shot. I can't say you have a chance, but there's specific things within that field. If you can't do it, it's probably best you don't. And that's the only thing I kind of disagree with that, dude. Not everybody's built to be engineers. And there are people that are engineers right now. There's levels to that too, right? You could be an engineer, you could have got your degree and stuff like that, but are you good? Right? And then also you look at somebody like Elon Musk or even Vivek, man. I mean, he's a billionaire. So is Elon, dude. They've started corporations and companies. They've gone beyond the pale, man, because they think outside the box, right? Vivek has embraced the Western way of thinking, so has Elon. Well, Elon's from the West, basically. I know he's from South Africa, but very, very entrepreneurial culture, right? So for them, they'll be able to do that. This is why I don't have a problem with me personally, with the H1B stuff, too, because we have a lot of people from India that come to the country work here, right? In these fields that a lot of people either don't want to work, or we don't have the skills up yet. Now, I would say we need to focus up that, keep the country first, right? That's what we should be doing. Right? That's where some people are having pushback, and then people are pushing back in different ways. It's not specifically against. Some are. I'm not gonna. Okay, I'll put that out there. Some are, but for the most part, people are more concerned about our economy and what's happening with our country. Right? Again, this is the whole thing that put Trump in office, President Trump in office, or soon to take office. Right? Is people want America to course correct, and let's focus on America first, and then we'll worry about everything else. Because we need to. At the end of the day, we need to, man. Our national debt is ridiculous. People can't afford to buy houses. There's a lot of real world things. So that's what people want you to focus on. So by Vivek doing there, I can appreciate that because he wants to have the conversation. But again, in all fairness, to the people who are pushing back, dude, that's not where the focus is right now. Right? Which is too bad because I can see what he's saying, dude. H1Bs are really good for corporations, right? I think Elon came out with because he's been talking about it as well, and actually got a lot of pushback. Well, not a lot. He's gotten pushback from people, but one of the things he said last night, well, before I went to bed and I saw what he wrote, is like, basically what he's saying is, look, if you have a championship team and you want to continue to be in a championship team, you have to bring in people, right? That'll make the team good. And as guys like us who watch sports, shout out to the NFL who absolutely killed it on Netflix. What is it, 65 million viewers on Christmas Day, dude? I love Christmas for what it is, dude. So I watched a little bit of it, man, but that's not Christmassy to me, so I'm not in that group. And then my team played on top of that. I think we got smoked. I watched a little bit of the first quarter, man. The Chiefs were all over us. But at the end of the day, man, I normally watch the team. If they would have put the Steelers game on Thanksgiving, I'd have had no problem because we watch football on Thanksgiving anyway. But with Christmas, man, it just hits different for me, dude. You guys know I'm a Christian. Celebrate the Lord's birth. Again, that's what the Christians designated it. I know a lot of people like online was coming at me like, that's not the day that Jesus was born, or Jesus. How do you know Jesus was born in there? I was like, look, dude, that's just the day we acknowledge. We're acknowledging his birth, not really the number, not really the date, like in 25, right? And then it's also that time of the season, man. This is why I love Christmas so much, because Easter's first and Christmas is my second favorite holiday. Christmas and Thanksgiving, love those three, right? Because there's attachments to that. Anyway, I'm getting off topic, but to Vivek's point, man, he wanted to have this discussion. I think it's good, man, because again, it shows a lot of the people who are on the right of all this kind of stuff, dude, in this MAGA party, or not party, but this MAGA movement. Yeah, I sound like the mainstream media. Like this MAGA movement, dude, this is the stuff that, because we're all different, dude. It's nuts. It's nuts, man. The amount of time I've been called a holy roller, right? Or anti this or anti that, because I have morals and standards and I'm part of this MAGA thing, right? So all the stuff falls on deaf ears with me. I'm used to it, right? And I'm pretty sure Vivek will be fine, right? And I agree with him, man. If you're gonna have the best engineers, dude, you got to bring in the best, and then you also have to. In our country, we need to step up our game. Because, like I said, dude, just because you got a degree doesn't are you the best? Like I was saying earlier with Vivek and Elon, man, right? They have a background that's technical. Does that mean every technical person can be a billionaire? Every technical person can run multi-billion-dollar companies or multi-million-dollar companies, create tech startups? No, right? No, because everybody's different. Right? So again, I understand what he's saying, especially with the pop culture stuff. But at the end of the day, dude, that's a part of who we are as an American culture, right? Though I do agree, because like I said, I see it all the time, every day, man. This generation, man, needs they do need to step it up. But it's really I mean, they need to step it up, but at the same time, they're also lost, man, because the generation before them, right, was absolutely, dude, millennials, man. I know I said that on my channel, people get mad, but I'm just being honest, dude. Probably one of the worst generations we had in our lifetime, right? I hope they own up to that and they start respecting that, right? Because the Gen Z generation is coming up. So hopefully they can course correct that, dude. I know a lot of Gen Z guys are looking at Gen X's right now and all, right? I see the videos online. They're like, oh my gosh, they actually did stuff like that. Oh, you actually could say stuff like that. And again, it's not about it's just it's usually like that, dude. Like our generation with the generation before us, dude. It's not cool, right? Nobody wants to be like their parents, but at some point in time, you end up turning into your parents. So there's a lot of stuff to unpack with this right there. But at the end of the day, I do agree with him that we need to get better, bigger, better, stronger, faster, right? And we need to get back that American drive. I mean, at the end of the day, that's what I think he's saying. That's what I'm gleaning from this. That he wants America to be that strong, competitive country that we've always been, and we've kind of fallen off, dude. And a lot of it is because we sidelined ourselves. But at the end of the day, guys, it is like, look, dude, I can appreciate other countries. I can appreciate what people do in other countries. I'm a big proponent. I can be make America great again. I can be America first because I believe Germany should make Germany first. I should believe France should make France first. I believe Canada should make Canada first. They don't need to be the 51st state. They just need to be go back to being the Canada of old, right? Where they were more capitalistic, right? Where they didn't let themselves get sidelined by race. Right? Same thing with Japan. I'm a huge proponent of Japan, right? I tell you guys all the time with video games, man. Japanese, they don't like to bring their stuff over here. That's on them. Instead of worrying about their stuff coming here, let's make our own stuff. Let's do our own thing. This is why, again, I can be MAGA, dude, because I think that's not just American. Dude. That can apply to a lot of different countries. You guys do you, right? Because they can't do us, and we can't do them, and they don't want to do us, and we don't want to do them. I'm telling you guys, man. All you guys sit here and they look at Japan. Yeah, it's nice. Some people actually move there and they love it, right? But that's not going to fit into the demographic of what we do here. Maybe we can borrow from them a little bit, like how people borrow from us, right? You guys know I talk about K dramas all the time, right? You guys know I talk about anime, but a lot of that stuff or video games that's RPGs, JRPGs are influenced by Western stories, by Western culture. They just took it and made it their own, which is great, right? You wouldn't want. That's how you get the differences, right? That's how you find something new. Right? And again, dude, like for example, a lot of people. Well, I say a lot of people, but there's people out there, saying that this stuff is racist. I'm like, nah, dude, it's not racist. Dude, this is us looking out for us, like how you guys should look out for you guys, right? Because at the end of the day, people are saying like, oh, you just don't want people to come over here, and I'm like, dude, okay, if this is such a big thing, why isn't other countries on the same level as us? Just honest talk. At the end of the day, honest talk, right? Why does everybody want to come here, right? Because they can't do it in their country. Because of their cultural norms and their other countries, right? Or because of the way their country's cultural perspective is, right? Like one of the things get thrown out all the time, right? When it comes to Western civilization and Western development, people always say, well, the Chinese they invented gunpowder. I said, yeah, but what did they do with it, right? It took some Westerner to go over there and make it into something that's, well, I think productive. Some people think it was bad, right? And I'm not saying that they couldn't have done that, but they didn't, right? And there's reasons why that they didn't, right? Like during all this stuff, they were in a dynastic period, man. The West moved on from that kind of stuff, right? This is why you have the form of government you have now. I'm not saying it's the best. Well, I'm not saying it's not without fault, but it is the best, in my opinion. Right? And that's why we need to correct all this crap in Washington. And at the end of the day, this is why all this stuff is the conversations that matter. Because at the end of the day, dude, people voted for Trump, right? Vivek ran for president, and I'll probably vote for him later on down the line if he decides to run. Right? He's an American-born citizen. Can't vote for Elon. I didn't. It didn't dawn on me that he was born in South Africa. For some reason, it didn't ring a bell. So he's out the picture, right? So, I mean, it is what it is, dude. But at the end of the day, man, people voted for Trump, and that's what MAGA kind of fixes on. So all of this stuff, to be honest with you, for the majority, say 80% of the people, or I'd say 90% of people in MAGA is not even. Most people don't even know what an H1B is. I only know this because of Microsoft, right? And what they do, a lot of the tech companies do, right? And the H1B, Vivek already acknowledged this, which I give him much kudos for, man, because it's something that we need to look at. Because at the end of the day, a lot of the stuff that, like anything else, man, people abuse it, right? And I'm saying our own government and our own corporations, as well as people overseas, are abusing it. right? And some of them, man, they get kind of uppity about it, dude. They're like, "Oh, you need us, you want us." I'm like, "No, that's not how it works, dude. It's a privilege and an honor for you to come here, you know, and work. Sure, you're giving us something, but we're giving you something back. That's just real talk for me. So, but I like what Vivek says, man. He talked about. I wish I had it on there. Dude. I didn't bookmark it. You guys know how bad I am with that, but he says, yeah, the system's broken. It needs to be fixed, just like immigration. There's nothing wrong with people bringing in, but I'm also in alignment with other people that are talking about let's fix us first, and then that's like third, fourth down the road, if even maybe seven, eight down the road. There's other bigger problems we have in this country that we need to fix first, right? And it all boils down to not me wanting to deny any people coming in here, dude. It's the whole thing about take the beam out of your own eye, right? Before you start, before we start helping other people, we need to be able to help ourselves. We have a lot of things that's wrong in our country right now that we need to fix for our own citizens. And once we get past that, dude, look, Americans are the most generous nation on the face of the earth. Now that's dropped a little bit, right? Given everything that's gone on the last 4 years, or actually the last 8 years, we're being honest, right, with the COVID and stuff like that. But still, Americans are very giving. But let's fix us first. Let us get on the right track first, and then we'll worry about everything else. Again, not against H1B, man. I understand what they're saying, dude. It's not like I'll just let everybody in kind of thing. They want to bring the best, the biggest, and the brightest to come in. But at the end of the day, dude, regardless of what these guys say, dude, it all boils down to Trump. And Trump is positive on H1B, but when I look at everything he does, dude, it's for the good and the betterment of the country. That's why he has a lot of political clout because he did 4 years of that. All these people hated on him, man. People felt like they were lied to, especially a lot of people coming over now that their eyes are open. They're like, hey, dude, you guys said this dude was racist. You guys said this dude was like this, and he's nothing like that. Right? And sometimes, man, these last 4 years, you got to experience some pain. That's the only way you learn. And at the end of the day, dude, for Vivek, man, that's the good thing about America as well. With all this, he talks about the culture and stuff like that, dude. Is people, you can't live in a box. You can't social engineer this stuff, dude. People need to fail, and people need to learn. And I know he knows that. I'm not talking, dude. I mean, this dude is a billionaire, dude. This guy knows, man. He has his ups and downs, man. He's a hard charger. Um, but then again, dude, not everybody's built that way. And look, dude, at the end of the day, dude, we need a lot of different people in the country, man. I say this all the time on my channel. This is why I don't care if I get the big views or I'm successful and stuff like that, dude. I just think I'm just speaking into the void, man. And hopefully somebody comes across and they're like, hey, this is pretty good, right? I agree or I disagree, but I see what this dude is saying, right? Because not everybody can be a Hollywood star. Not everybody can be a billionaire, right? And you're gonna need, like every other country, you're gonna need a cog in the machine. And for me, the goal of Trump and what I would like him to do is make sure that the people that are cogs are at least comfortable, right? Because for a lot of people, we don't need to be rich. Because, like I said, in the case of the kids, my mom, or the kids, their mom, dude, being the job that she has, dude, she gets paid, what, 150, 130, 140,000 a year. But she doesn't have a life, right? To be honest with you, right? Because she's constantly having to work, constantly have to study. She has to know as much as a doctor, and she has to know also. She has to be a lawyer. She has to know all the laws, especially in a state like Hawaii, man. This place is absolutely psychotic. So I have no sympathy for my own state, man, because we put ourselves in that whole situation. And I feel bad, man. I might have to come colonize the great state of Texas or the great state of Nevada. I might have to turn into a colonizer and come over there when I retire, man, because I probably won't be able to afford living here because it's ridiculous. Hey, I'm sorry, guys. You know what? Is anybody in the chat? I don't think so, but let me double check. Hey, Faded, I'm sorry, brother. What's up, man? I'm like half an hour late. Just a quick video, man. I gotta go drop my daughter off, so I wanted to do this an hour talking about this. This is probably the biggest blow up we had so far. In fact, I'll stop sharing right now and get back to the podcast. But I love it, dude. I love this. Right. This is what I would rather focus on than men in sports, which should not be a thing. Men and women's sports, which should not be a thing. All these other crap issues that we've been dealing with for 4 years, which really don't matter. Let's get back to the economy. Let's get back to making the country safer. Let's get back into making our military strong. Let's hold these guys accountable. All these dudes have been running roughshod for 4 years, man. That's why I'm high on Doge. All right. I'm looking forward to see what they're going to do, how they're going to break everything down, and what we're going to see, man. I mean, I think people's eyes need to be open. Some people's eyes are open, but I mean, I think once they're fully open, dude, they'll be shocked at all the fraud, waste, and abuse that the government does. Right. and all the money that we can save, right? And then with conversations like this, will kind of fall on the back burner. The thing that Trump has to focus on first is the economy, first and foremost. That's why people are putting him in office for the most part. I know he has political capital to spend. A lot of people are a little bit more awoken to a lot of the stuff that's going on politically, right? But at the end of the day, dude, it's people's pocketbooks. And it's a fine line, dude. You have to hit everything running, man. And the way he ran his campaign, his first 4 years, man, I think he'll be able to do it. Because once people start feeling comfortable in the economy, then you got to do all the rest of the stuff, right? You got to show people like why you're in office, why you're doing what you're doing, and why it matters, right? That's why I want them to go in from the jump, man, and just start take the hatchet to government, right? Do it quick and do it fast, right? For me, again, nuclear option and just build from the ground up afterwards. I would prefer that, but I know they're not going to do that. I don't know if the system can handle that, honestly. That's the way I feel about stuff. But then you guys hear me ranting about what I want Microsoft to do right when they buy everything. But anyway, let me wrap this up. Fada, thanks for being here, brother. You know, it's a political podcast, so I know I'm not going to get a lot of views and stuff like that, which is fine. Right? But it's been an hour. I'm going to wrap this up. So my daughter's done. But I am going to come back later. But I think Unlimited is doing a podcast today. I'm not sure if he's doing the podcast. I don't want to step over that. But I do want to do the sake of stuff, and put some other stuff out there while I got the time. But Fada, thanks for being here. Anybody who checks this out, man, just let me know what you think in the comment section down below. And Xbox All In channel, we out.